Go love your own enemies. Don't be loving mine. My enemies are the theocratic fascists. I don't love them. I want to destroy them.
Child made in the image of God. Oh no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join your church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman.
Hello. I wanted to read an article that I found on Facebook. It was posted as a link. Oh, for fuck's sake. A gentle talk with my Republican, Democrat, and undecided friends. But before I read the article, I just wanted to say a few things that I've been thinking lately. What is it with all the hate? I really believe that most people in America are good in their hearts. They're good, decent people. They're well-meaning people. So when has it become okay, and even something to be proud of, to hate, to judge a whole group of people? You know, a lot of, excuse me, I got a hair here, you know, hair's out of control situation here. A lot of people say homosexuality is an illness. People who are homosexuals need to be cured. That's what some people say. Okay, let's just pretend for a moment this is true. Why is it okay to hate the ill? Why is it okay to ridicule and discriminate and grant less rights to people who are ill? But especially, why is it okay to hate somebody for something they can't help? You can't help it if you're sick. My mother can't help it that she has schizophrenia. She never asked for it. People don't ask to be sick. My friend that I've known since elementary school just found out that her husband has stage 4 esophageal cancer. He didn't ask for it. Should we ridicule him? Should we deny him his rights? Say that he can't have the same rights as everybody else because of something he cannot help? You cannot help an illness. So why is it okay to hate people who are gay and ridicule them and discriminate against them and tell them that they can't have as many rights as other people do? Why is it okay to say that they're going to go to hell someday? If they're sick, it's not something they can help. Would God torture forever somebody for something they can't help? I know a friend who is a very devout Christian who is gay. Is he going to go to hell because of something he can't help, an illness? But it's okay to hate in this country. In fact, it's every day seeming to be more and more the norm to look with judgmental eyes on other people, to judge them all the same. It's just normal. I'm guilty of it myself. I had 2 young Muslim women, completely head to foot in cloth, get on my bus the other day, and I said my usual hello to them, and they looked at me like I was a bug and didn't smile. Well, I couldn't tell if they were or not, but I mean, they didn't look, no eye contact. They treated me like I was beneath them. And so my immediate reaction was, wow, you know, Muslim women are so, they look down at women who are not Muslims because we don't dress the way they do. We're not modest. I mean, that was my first thought. And then yesterday, a young Muslim woman in full dress gets on my bus, and she wasn't in full dress. I could see her face, and she was smiling, and she was nice and polite, looked me in the eyes. You know, it's just so easy to just judge a whole group of people because of something negative, or just, oh, all Muslims are this way because somebody was mean to me. This is playground mentality. And it's funny because in so many ways America just never, if we ever grew out of it, now it's like we're sinking back into it. Playground mentality, to the point that we have a bully. My brother was a bully. I grew up with a bully in my house, a swaggering asshole. A bully, a rude son of a bitch, who beat up people, beat up other boys at school, who thought it was okay to beat women. That was my brother. When I see Trump, I see my brother. I see a swaggering, not very intelligent idiot who has to beat up others to prove his worth. He's got no class. He's an asshole. He has the same mannerisms, the same speech habits, the same bearing when he's talking to people as my bully brother. That's Trump. He's a bully. And he's clearly saying to the world that having money and having a big fucking mouth and daring to be rude enough is all it takes to be the president of this country. And he's out to prove that this is all it takes. Has he even read the entire U.S. Constitution? Probably not. So my point is, and I'm not sure I'm even going to get to the article at this point, since when has it become politically okay to mock people, openly mock them, and in fact you might even be applauded if you do? Gay people, fat people, plain people, large people, old people, anybody who's different, handicapped people. When has it become okay to do these things? When has rudeness become okay? I mean, granted, I've seen less and less manners in younger people, like their parents never bothered to teach them how to be polite. Granted, there are exceptions to that. I've seen some very polite young people too. But I've seen some amazingly rude younger people who don't even know what the words I'm sorry means. You know, you call with a complaint to any customer service office in the country with a complaint, they will try to justify, why things were done, but they'll never say, "Oh, I'm really sorry that happened to you." They'll never apologize. Apologizing and manners, these are things that are becoming extinct. People don't care. People are rude. People are in your face. And it's cool. And Trump is cool because he's rude as shit. He's like the king of rude. We look down at people who don't fit a particular image, and it's so ingrained in our society that even women do it. I have a DVDs that I've been watching from the books that I really appreciated. Outlander. It's a really good series. I'm enjoying it a lot. There's a line in there where the main character is talking to one of the brothers that's kind of sort of holding her prisoner, and she sees him sheath his dagger, and she says, "You were going to use that on me?" And his response, and this is dialogue from a book written by a woman, his response was, "Well, I wouldn't have liked it. You're a handsome woman." Or he says, I wouldn't have enjoyed it. You're a handsome woman. What does that imply? If she hadn't been handsome, if she had been plain, homely, if she had been a homely woman, would he have enjoyed killing her? Is it okay to kill somebody who is homely? Is it okay to ridicule and mock and treat them like they're less just because they aren't beautiful? What is wrong with my country? It's like I feel like I'm watching humans regress, de-evolve in just my lifetime. Granted, maybe humans always had this nature. Maybe they just had the good sense to keep their darker side to themselves. But anymore, it's okay to put it out there, to call people fat and ugly right to their faces. Maybe it's the internet because you don't see people face to face, that you're learning how to be rude. And it's okay because you don't actually see the hurt feelings that you create to somebody, a real life person. Yeah, I would have been sad to kill you because you're beautiful. It's the opposite. What does that imply? What does that say? Well, if you had been ugly, it would have been a pleasure to plunge my knife into you repeatedly. Would have been loving it. watching the life fade from your eyes because you're not beautiful. Your life matters less because you're not beautiful. Your life matters less because you're not straight. Your life matters less because you're not white. This is what I'm seeing in my country right now. Your rights matter less because you're Mexican or because you're Islamic. I'm sorry, I don't like Islam. But I do believe that people have freedoms in this country, including the freedom to believe in Islam. I hate it. I hate the religion. I hate cult. I hate Christianity too. But if we want freedom from religion, we have to agree that people should have freedom to have religion too. It's a two-way street. You don't become a dictator and say, only my way is the right way, and people who don't play by my rules are going to be kicked out. I truly worry about this person and his attitude about, get him out of here. Oh, just get him out of the room. People who question him, or people who criticize him, or people who even just have a question, get him out of the room. He doesn't even accept a contradictory opinion. He's completely got walls around himself. He won't take criticism. He won't take feedback. He's a fucking dictator and not somebody fit to run this country. We criticize Germany because once upon a time they let a dictator rise to power. And because of that, so many innocent people died. And what are we doing right now? Are we letting a dictator rise to power? Yeah, I think we are. And it scares me. It's like, haven't we learned? Can't we learn from history? Isn't what happened to Germany a horrible mistake? A blight on the human story? I think it is. I think it's a horrible embarrassment, just like slavery in the United States is a horrible embarrassment. And I think the way we are treating gay people right now is a horrible embarrassment, and the way we treat women has continued to be a horrible embarrassment. When are we going to grow up and evolve? I personally think it'll be the day that we put aside these stupid books that spread poison, teach us poison, and actually teach us that poison is good, that hating is good, that intolerance is good, and actually approve. I mean, desirable. It's desirable. This is becoming very long, and I haven't even read the article, so I'm going to read it now. But yeah, I think that there's a serious need in this country for self-evaluation. And all the good people in this country who actually think Trump is a good idea really need to think about this and look in their hearts. What exactly are they supporting here? It's hard to look at the headlines when you're face-palming, but I see my Facebook feed alight with various opinions on the election, all of which are wrong. So rather than screaming, "Oh, for fuck's sake," at all of you individually, let me pull you into a corner and have a brief but compassionate talk. To my moderate conservative friends, this is a tough time for you. For years I've said the Republican Party is saturated with racist jerks who'd like to raze the Constitution to the ground. And you said, oh no, that's not who we are. We believe in firm laws and equality. Then you wake up to discover that your official candidate is a guy who literally doesn't know how many articles the Constitution has. And David Duke is so thrilled by Trump's candidacy, he's come out of the woodwork. You're not a racist. I wouldn't be friends with you if you were, but you're realizing that Trump is representing an ignorant, anti-science, pro-white wing of the party that you tried very hard to convince me didn't exist. Worse, those people you claimed didn't exist or were just background noise are in fact dominant. That is a moment for soul searching. And from what I see, y'all are doing it, and I commend you for that. And a lot of you are refusing to vote for Trump, as is correct. However, while you're soul searching, take a moment to reflect deeper. Because the party elders tried very hard to convince you that all of your fellow Republicans were as upstanding as you were, because they knew you might leave the party if you actually understood a lot of the people who stood with you were racists, waiting for an excuse to stand back up again. This uncomfortable dissonance you're feeling right now is because they knowingly suckered you into believing that your reasonable concerns were what most Republicans felt. And now you're seeing that, yeah, maybe not all, but a lot of Republicans are pulling that lever out of naturalistic white pride and foreign hatred. You've been suckered already. That is a fact. It is not shameful unless you refuse to learn from it. Now, I'd like you to ponder the fact that a lot of your hatred of Hillary Clinton may come from the same people who misled you about your fellow voters. You're not obligated to like her, of course, but consider that much of your reflexive, "Never Hillary!" information came from the same sources that told you, yes, all your fellow Republicans want is what you want. Consider that a lot of the scandals around Hillary come from a 30-year, well-funded, unending campaign to turn up dirt on her. And that campaign stemmed from the guys who suckered you. I'm not saying she's great. Oh boy, am I going to unload on her in a second. But if you're seething with reflexive Hillary hatred after years of headlines, take a moment to remember who fed you those headlines and the other things they were feeding you. Then re-examine that from a more sober point of view. That's all. And if you're starting to type your frothing answer on why Hillary is the devil within 5 seconds of finishing this discussion, you have failed to ponder. Try again. Try harder. To my liberal friends saying, there's no difference between Hillary and Trump. There's no delicate way to say this, but do me a favor. Look down at your hands. Yeah, every one of you who said that and looked down at your hands will have noticed that you're white. It's pretty easy to claim there's no difference when you're not the one he's targeting. I get that you're mad, and it's a legitimate anger. Hillary's a prickly candidate. But do you think the Supreme Court justices that Trump will nominate, and he will nominate them, will make no difference in your lifestyle 10 years down the line? Go look up Antonin Scalia's record, then ponder Trump's statement of our beloved Scalia. Then ponder what the court would rule with 4 years of him on the team. Do you think that your LGBTQ friends will be treated the same in a Hillary as president world versus a Trump as president world? Do you think that Hillary will respond exactly the same to Putin's invasion of foreign countries when Trump has said explicitly that he won't? Do you think police reform and Black Lives Matter will be exactly the same in a Trump world versus a Hillary one? Sure, get mad. Claim that Hillary's an awful candidate, but saying there's no difference is the most selfish kind of tantrum, the kind where you don't get the candidate you want, and you overlook the many and manifest differences between not good and apocalyptically awful. I know you wanted to vote for someone, but all too often we vote against someone to keep the seventh seal plugged nice and tight. And I'm trying to say this nicely, but your sputterings of "there's no difference" comes from the quiet white privilege where the only hardships you'll deal with are the economic ones. A lot of people who don't share your skin tone will suffer if Trump gets elected, and they'll suffer in ways that a Hillary election will not cause. There is a difference between the two of them. What you're actually saying is, I don't want to choose between a terrible option and total annihilation. I'm sympathetic. But that is the choice on the table, at least in terms of electability. So stop saying there's no difference. There is a difference. You just want all good choices, and you're not getting that, so please, wake the hell up. To my Bernie-loving friends, the leaked DNC mails are ugly, it's true. But I have to wonder, have you guys ever watched a political campaign? I suspect if you had leaked emails from the 2008 campaign, you'd find the DNC equally biased against Barack Obama. And people asking all sorts of ugly questions about how to handle his blackness. But we don't. Why? Well, because Putin didn't want McCain elected as badly as he wants Trump in office. That's the guy who leaked this stuff at a time proven to be maximally damaging. So when reading those emails, you should get mad, but you should also A, consider who wanted you mad and why, and B, wonder what the RNC emails would look like if they were leaked. Because, guys, this is how the sausage gets made. It's ugly. It's never pretty. They're going to discuss voting blocks in ugly, reductive ways, and they're going to figure out lines of attack. And yes, the DNC absolutely needs reform. But do you notice one thing? Notice how Bernie never won the black vote? You know, that black vote, that's literally the only thing holding Trump back right now. Fact is, Bernie had the odds stacked against him, but he fucked up by not funding enough of his black outreach team and bobbling easy questions on race. Yes, I know you think he should have convinced the black vote, but the fact is that black voters have had a lot of guys promising vast change and then tossing them away once they got into office, and Bernie was unable to connect with them. If Bernie had won the black vote, guess what? He'd be the damn nominee right now, and yes, he had some hurdles to overcome, but it's like Gore versus Bush in Florida. Yeah, the votes got miscounted, but if Gore hadn't sold out to the right wing and alienated the left, then no hanging chad would have stopped him. Say it with me, folks. Bernie fucked up. The odds were stacked against him, but he knew that black voters were the key to the nomination, or should have, and he kept putting his foot in his mouth. And Bernie is not an assailable candidate right now anyway, and I wish y'all would stop saying that he is. Hillary went after him with kid gloves, and the Republicans stayed away from him because he was such a soft target that they were eager for him to get into office. If you thought Hillary was nasty, ponder ads saying that Bernie Sanders wants underage children to molest each other. And yes, you think Trump would be afraid to go there if he wasn't trying to siphon away your vote right now? Get mad, but don't get mad as if this is a special thing that the DNC did because they are their own unique flavor of evil. Get mad because politics is shitty. And then remember that Barack Obama likely had it just as bad in 2008, and he won. The system is rigged. But all systems are rigged, and you can win it with a flood of votes just like Trump did. Unfortunately, Bernie didn't. So stop talking about him like he was the unqualified best choice. The unqualified best choice would have gotten the most votes in the end. Which isn't the only thing that would make a candidate the unqualified best, but it sure as fuck is the start. There's reason Bernie is still choosing to go after Trump instead of Hillary, my friends. Examine that. To Hillary, you fucking hired Wasserman less than 4 hours after she got kicked out of the DNC? Are you even trying to look good, woman? Jesus, I'm voting for you and that looks bad. Cut it the fuck out. And to my enthusiastically voting for Trump friends, oh, for fuck's sake.